my mom sold a house that I was living in with her and everything, and we eventually became homeless. It was so run down that it was not habitable. So we were in hotels and staying with friends. So I didn't quite think I was homeless and everything like that. But one day I said, "Okay, I can't do this. There is more for me, and I know that I'm gifted and talented, so I can't do this." So I called on my cousin who lives in Atlanta. I said, "Hey, Andrea, she's the OBGYN, she got a nice house and everything." I was like, "Hey, can I stay with you? I don't know how long, but I just need a place to stay." Welcome to Be Real with Sarah, where the bee may sting and the real never dies. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Be Real with Sarah. Woo! We are in for a treat. But remember, over here, this is our space where, listen, the bee may sting, but the real never dies. Okay, listen. Sometimes we are, again, we're kind of stuck, right? And sometimes we're like, well, what is our next? What does it look like? And sometimes our next is right here in our hand and it's our phone. And this guest here, listen, she took what turned to be a no, turned to be a new direction into press and record on her phone. So I have a wonderful, beautiful guest by the name of Davida Fields. She is a fashion, beauty, and lifestyle influencer known for her bougie on a budget style, helping women look polished without overspending. And I've been following her for a while, and she definitely keeps us abreast on Amazon deals, anything that's on sale to make sure that we're still looking fly, but we're not going over our budget, y'all. So welcome, my sister, Davida Fields. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for having me, Sarah. I'm so excited. Thank you for joining me, girl. I know you are busy, but thank you for taking the time to be with us today. I want to just go ahead and just hop on in. So I know you shared with us that, listen, what turned out to be, hey, I lost my job to I got to figure out my next move. So kind of walk us to the beginning of this journey that you are currently on. Ooh, the beginning. Okay, let me see how far I want to go. Oh, because it's definitely been literally from like 0 to 100. A matter of fact, it's not even 100. I feel like, maybe like 80 and everything. But I'm going to give you, I guess, let's go ahead and get down to business and talk about 0. So, 0, I had just graduated with my master's in criminal justice. I had lost my sister and from domestic violence. And I was really trying to like figure out what my purpose was. And something told me to, start a nonprofit and everything. So while I was in the middle of doing that, my mom sold a house that I was living in with her and everything. And we eventually became homeless. And how it wasn't like straight up like we on the streets living in the car. My mom had sold our house and she had intentions of us moving into my grandparents' house. The one they moved, they left in their names and everything. And it was just, it was so run down that it was not habitable. So we were in hotels and staying with friends. So I didn't quite think I was homeless and everything like that. But one day I said, "Okay, I can't do this. There is more for me, and I know that I'm gifted and talented. So I can't do this." So I called on my cousin who lives in Atlanta. I said, "Hey, Andrea, she's the OBGYN, she got a nice house and everything." I was like, "Hey, can I stay with you? I don't know how long, but I just need a place to stay." She was like, "Yeah, you can come live with me." So I moved in, slept on the couch and everything, and I got a job at the Marriott. And that's when I started blogging. I shared my journey of living in Atlanta, moving from Charleston, South Carolina, sharing my journey from like dating, what it's like to live in Atlanta and everything like that. So I kind of like built up a community of people reading my blogs. And I was working at the Marriott, working a little part-time job, making like $500 every 2 weeks and everything like that. Just a little something. Right. And so
Yeah.
I yes, and so I started in like October 2019. Come around February, March. You know what happened in 2020? The
Yeah.
pandemic.
Mhm.
And so they called me and was like, "Hey, Davida, just let you know you are laid off indefinitely. And so best of luck to you." And
Oh.
so in that moment, girl, listen,
Whew.
in that moment, I was like, and there's no way, there has to be something. So at this point, I was already blogging, so I had a community of people who wanted to listen to me. And I was a little camera shy, so I was using like stock images from Google for my blogs. And so one day I decided to take a picture of me
and like this little outfit because what had happened was I was supposed to meet up my friend and she canceled on me. And I was like, well, somebody gonna see this outfit. I put my little makeup on, got my lashes,
Okay.
somebody gonna see this outfit. So I posted it one day and it did numbers. Like the engagement from that far exceeded the engagement I got from my blog promotion post on Instagram. So that was like, oh, so I like my fashion. So let me go ahead and tap into it. That's when I eventually, like my first stimulus check, I invested it into an influencer ebook. And safe to say, fast forward, what I was making in like 2 weeks. Well, I make more than that, but I'm just saying that God is good, first of all, but I felt like it was a blessing in disguise. And I remember I was knee deep in my content creation. And one day they called me back, was like, hey, we have some positions open. Now the pandemic is over. We would like to get to your position. I said, no, thank you. I'm already where I'm at. I'm already where I need to be. And so I guess that's the journey. I don't think I missed anything, but that's where we are today.
So you said a lot here because literally you built a community, but first off, you kind of stumped me a little bit because you were like, I was a little shy, but I don't see that now. Like you have so much confidence when you like showing your body, you can have so much confidence on camera. You think you just built that over time, or how was that?
I will say over time, because even in high school, I was bullied for my size. And like I was overdeveloped, so I had like a very large chest, and it actually pushed me to getting a breast reduction right after high school graduation because I was bullied for it. Everybody made fun of me and everything like that. So I didn't really want to like show my body. I didn't want to. And then guys called me butterface. You know what butterface is, right?
No.
It was like it's a phrase like everything look good, butterface.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I ain't heard it in so long.
Girl, yes, yes, yes. And so, listen, it really took a lot of healing, a lot of self love, a lot of just putting myself out there, even when I was scared, even when I was shy, even when I didn't want to do it, putting myself out there. And it kind of just like over time builds up my confidence. And I had to like get over that mindset that I had as an 18 and under year old and start living as who I am now as a 30 plus year old woman. Yes, ma'am.
Period. I love how what seemed to be bad, where somebody was like picking on you, making fun of you, you did that self work to build that confidence out, and now you actually doing. Oh my gosh, it's speaking to me. Okay, so I've watched you. You're constantly. I just feel like Davida, you always doing something. Like you going on brand trips and you doing the thing, and it's so amazing. I think why I connected to you, why I think a lot of women connect with you, is because you call yourself a curvy plus size influencer. Like it's like you're redefining what society says is curvy, and you're actually like you are showing the transparency of what your curves look like, and you give like you tell about your sizes and all the things, and I love that about you. So tell me, how did it look, or do you think that the pandemic created a lane for curvy size, or like is it something that still is accepted, or where is that part of styling or sizing now?
Um, the pandemic probably did help because I didn't really quite see curvy women on my feed. I guess really until I became an influencer. You had like Takara, like the original curvy model and everything like that, but I didn't quite see curvy influencers doing the thing, popping off. However, and I see them like taking trips. I see them taking them spaces like New York Fashion Week. I was at New York Fashion Week as a curvy girl, and I love to see it. However, I feel like there's still a little bit of work to do when it comes in like the in-store shopping experiences. I feel like most online you got it. But when you go into certain stores, it's not giving curvy bodies. We want you to look good. So there's a little bit of work in progress with that. But I feel like, it's getting to that point. Because I know there's one creator I follow. She be calling brands out or whatever. So I feel like it's a work in progress.
I think I probably follow this same brand. She actually does like I remember she goes in the store, it's like, what is this? Like this is not yes.
You already know.
Yeah, well, I already know. So at what point, or give me some examples of like or kind of for the creator that's like, man, I really want to do exactly what she's doing, or I'm doing what she's doing, but I don't see where it's profitable. So at what point does it get profitable, or what do you think?
I feel like it gets to the point where you have to make it profitable. You can't just dream it. You have to really push yourself out there and say, "Hey, I am so and so. This is what I'm passionate about. I never worked with a brand before, but this is my work." And as you can see, I am a huge fan of your brand. Look at this post I created like 2 weeks ago. It did a lot of numbers. As you can see, my followers love your brand, and I would love to create a partnership. Let's start off with, it could be a gifted partnership, or you could just straight out ask, I would love to start off and transparently, like my first collaboration was 500 because that was the amount that I made in 2 weeks. So like, let me just use that. Let me see how this goes or whatever.
That's smart.
Right. See, okay. So, really putting myself out there. And my first brand deal, I guess I'll just go ahead and get into it. Was it was during the pandemic, and I was like, I know a lot of people are going through a lot of things. I know we got stress, depression, loss, and so I said, I'm gonna go live for 5 days straight. It's gonna be called a quarantine party. I forgot the name of it. It was something cute and catchy, but it was like a quarantine, everybody in the house or whatever. So I went live every day with like wellness specialists. Like I went live with even a sex therapist. I went live with a financial accountant. I went live with a psychiatrist. Like people just dropping gems on how to really get through this season that we were all in. And so I created this cute little proposal. And I was like, it was like a 5-page proposal. And I said, this is what I plan to do. These are the days I plan to go live. This is the day I would love to promote your business. And this is what I can do to promote it. I can talk about your business during the live, and I can also make a post about it and things like that. And he said, yeah, let's do it. So put yourself out there, create something that nobody has ever done before. Or if you're seeing something that somebody else did, make it your own and sell that to the brands. And if it makes sense with your audience, it makes sense with your lifestyle and the knowledge that you have, they have no choice but to pay you.
Now see, that's true. You got to be confident in yourself. Like you got to know your value and what you offer. And obviously you had the blueprint and the social proof to say, okay, this is what I can offer. Look what I've already done. And they are able to take that and run with that. I love that. So at this point, let's say, I think what pandemic is going on, 6 years ago. So how would you say your systems have evolved with handling the traction of conversing with brand deals so that you're organized? What does that look like? Or are you just kind of mainly doing it yourself now?
Well, I'm not manually doing them myself. I have a brand management and they handle all the brand deals. So let's say I'm looking at my Stanley Cup. Let's say Stanley says, "Hey, Davida, we want to collaborate with you for the new year, new me, hydration, everything like that." So they send me an email and I look at it and say, "Okay, I've always wanted to work with Stanley. I'm gonna send it on to my management." And sometimes I get brand deals and it just doesn't make sense. I don't even send it to my management because they don't need to be going back and forth, especially when because some of these brands will try to play you. I remember one brand, they were like, "Hey, we love you guys. We love your content, everything like that. We can offer you $100." This was this year. I'm like, if you had given me that when I first started, it may have been a little different conversation. But I'm like, I put the work in and you have the budget. We talking about like a big brand. If it was a small brand, then yeah, we could do a little something,
Not a big brand.
A big brand. And so I was like, I'm sorry. So moving forward, Stanley says, we want to pay you this amount. And I'm like, okay, that looks like a good number. Let me go ahead and send my management. Let's see if we can negotiate a little higher. They go back and forth with the brand, say, thank you for reaching out. And this is what we can charge and everything like that. And sometimes that may take the negotiation process could take a few days. I've seen it happen within one. They accepted our highest offer and everything like that. But sometimes you got to go back and forth. And then once you finally get to that final number, that's when they send over the contract. And then I send it over to Will, my husband, who's also my attorney. And he reviews the contract.
Period.
He may say, no, okay. Yes, ma'am. So he may look at the contract and say, this is missing, or they need to add this, and so forth. And then once we get the contract signed, we get lights, camera, action. And that's how it goes.
Wow.
And I have an assistant who helps me with like editing the videos. Like that, I'll create all the content, all the B-roll, and I just send it off to them and tell them, hey, this is what the brand is looking for. This is how long it needs to be. Go and make sure that you highlight the product. Was it like the product focus and things like that? And then I get it, look at it, add my little whatever to it. Then I send it over to my brand manager, and then they send it to the brand.
Okay, I hope Stanley will watch this so we can get my girl a partnership and he could be like, shout out to Be Real with Sarah, give an opportunity, I was able to announce them. Okay. That's how it works. But before you even said your husband's name, I said, this sounds like how attorneys be going back and forth, like, this ain't right, we not accepting this. Wow. It's good. It's interesting to hear it. What's the back end process? So I guess my question would be, at what point in your journey throughout these years that you say, okay, I need to outsource, hand this over to a team, and then also get somebody like an assistant to help me?
I will say when I started making a large amount of money, like I remember one time I made like 5 figures off of just Amazon links. And I said, okay, I need like this. I can't do this alone. I'm used to managing small amounts of money. You know what I mean? And even then, we wild out getting crab boils and all that stuff. But anyway, I was like, I need to hire an accountant. So that was like my first step. My accountant was like, looking over my numbers and everything like that, giving me advice. Then she's like, you know what? You're at a point where it's a lot happening and you have the budget to hire a virtual assistant because you're getting yourself burnt out. And I was like, she was kind of like my therapist as well. And so she led me to hiring a VA. And then I also hired a graphic designer for like those big sale days like Black Friday or Prime Big Deals with Prime Big Deal days with Amazon. They'll create little graphics on my stories and everything like that. So when it got to a point where I'm up at night at like 2 a.m. editing content and everything, and that's not what it's about. At the end of the day, you got to, first of all, you got to get your rest. Okay.
Yeah.
Because cancer for Black women is real because we put so much on ourselves. And I know one cause of cancer is from stress. And when we put too much on ourselves, you know what I mean? When we put too much on ourselves and have that superwoman complex, it affects our health in the long run. It may not affect it right now, but eventually over time, you're going to burn yourself out and not have enough time for your family or for yourself. And I love me a spa day. Okay.
You do. I be watching. My girl learns self-care. She walks the walk. She's not just telling y'all these products. The girl be really walking that walk.
Thank you. It literally is very important. Like I started hearing conversations about like, our central nervous system and how it plays a big part in how we behave. We're stressed, our heart racing. We wonder why we're on edge. It's because things aren't aligning and you're not outsourcing in the areas that you need to. So I guess that's that point where I realized, my accountant is right. I have the budget.
Yeah.
Let me get somebody else to take this load off.
Yeah. And I mean, you said so much to those that I think there's just a thing with not just content creators, but entrepreneurs where we want to do all the things. And then you got to a point where, because that accountant, that or CPA, whichever one, bookkeeper, you've got to have those numbers right, especially because it's, as you know, this is full-time entrepreneurship. So if you don't have the right financials, you're not really on your big boss stuff in the long run with handling your business, showing like, this is how much I made. So I think that's a really great step. And then you lucked up, girl. You married an attorney. You lucked up. He keeps us together too. Just making sure that the contract is that you're not, I don't want to say signing yourself away, but I feel like, and you would know this, right? Maybe have you experienced where you signed a contract and you shouldn't have?
In the beginning, when we talking about I'm sitting on the couch and I need money and everything like that, I signed a contract that had perpetuity in it, and I think I only got paid like $100, maybe $75. And perpetuities when they have rights to my content forever, even when I die, they can make money off of my likeness. So going forward, especially with having Will on my team, anytime we see that we're perpetuity, we're adding on some extra fees to that or out. So just I don't know what specific brand it was, but I do look back like, dang, why did I do that? And then I hate it when they ask for so much and only pay a little. Like, we need you to post 3 posts. We need you on your stories and then talk about your life. And I'm like, yeah, let's do it because I need money. And that's not the mindset I want to have. You know what I'm saying? You got to make the money. Don't let the money make you.
Come on. My girl. That's what I'm talking about. Don't let it make you. Oh, my goodness, girl. So I guess now that we're in 2026, I mean, where do you think the creator economy is now for those that are like, hey, I'm hopping into this or I've been in this? Like, what do you think the future is with this space?
I think it's still growing. You got creators like Drewski on TV, okay?
Yeah.
Making big bucks like with the ads and everything. I think
Yeah.
that if you want to start, the time is now. Don't think that it's oversaturated. I don't have a voice, because you do have a voice. No one has your story. It could be 500 plus size creators, but you are a one. You are the one. You have a background. You have a family history, like whatever it is that you are very knowledgeable in, or whatever journey that you want to share with the world. Own that and take pride in that, and of course set boundaries with what you want to share, and yeah, post the content. I
Yeah.
think that it's only going to get better. I know some people are concerned with like AI influencers. AI can't touch this. AI cannot touch
No, it
the
cannot.
real thing. Okay, you know what I mean? And I ain't gonna lie, I be watching little AI influencers or whatever, but I'm like, okay, we just saw you with 4 fingers, and now you got 6.
They haven't mastered it yet. And that's what's so great. They got a long way to go with that. But you said something that really sparked up a thought in my head, because you brought up Drewski. I'm seeing more influencers with the brand deals, the ad. It seems like they're doing ads. Then we're seeing influencers like host like these TV shows, and they're doing these commercials. Like it seems that it has evolved. So you don't even have to stay in the lane of just the brand deals. That's what
Yeah,
it seems like.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
kind of like a stepping stone, kind of like, because what's that guy? What was it, Jay Versace? He started off as an influencer. Now he's a producer. I don't really see him on my feed, but he's a music producer. And then you've got what's his name? I've got his name, but there's somebody in like it was in the recent cop movie with Eddie Murphy. He was in.
Oh.
But I was just saying, like, influencers is, you don't just
Yeah.
stay on the phone. You don't just stay on social media. You can branch out. You can expand. You can be on TV.
Mm-hmm.
I was on Fox on a TV show called I Can See Your Voice. I did dabble into that.
Okay.
Yes, yes, ma'am. You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Yes, yes.
Oh
I was on. They reached out to me on my Instagram. I was like, "What is this? This is like a hack. Y'all ain't trying to take me and take my organs and everything like that." I
what?
can't believe this. But yeah, they reached out to me and was like, we would love to have you come out to Atlanta. We're gonna be filming these days and this and that. And I looked up the show, and it was legit, and I was on TV. It's called I Can See Your Voice. Episode, I forgot what episode I'm in, but I can say the details. But yeah,
Yeah, please.
like I said, huh?
I say no, please, please. Sell to me.
Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah,
I
it
want
doesn't
to.
just stay like you don't just stay in one lane. Like there's so many lanes we can take.
So I should say, so I had down fashion and beauty lifestyle influencer, but it's given actress, right?
Girl, I would love to. Just give me one TV show. Let me see how I do, or let me do a little voice acting. Like that is a goal of mine, to just give it a try. Just give it a try. I would love to.
Okay, so now we got to do it. So what's next? So okay, you had like your bingo card, and you're like, okay, brand deals, and like, or you could just go down this lane with TV and film. You would go down the TV and film lane.
Yeah.
Ah! Okay, we're gonna claim that.
Hold on. Because I will say I love being a creator. I love my job. I love my community. But it's something new, something that I don't have to stress about the performance. Because, well, I guess there's different levels, right? I guess it does still play in how you perform.
Yeah.
But like as far as the content performance, let's say it doesn't perform well and everything like that. I don't hit the numbers like the brand wanted, and now I'm embarrassed. They didn't pay me this X amount of dollars, and I only got like a few hundred likes and barely 10 comments or something like that. So it's little things like that. It's a little pressure. I haven't had to deal with that lately, but it does happen, and I do see it with creators. Creator, even if I don't know them, I'm a comment. If I see paid partnership or ad, I'm commenting, because I understand how important engagement is. Even if I don't plan on buying it, like, yes, girl, I love this, need this in my life or whatever. But yeah, showing love to creators is very, very important.
Yeah.
Pressure is real. The pressure is real.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was a job, but like just hearing you say that, I feel more pressure to comment, because I be commenting on. I try my best to comment on y'all's posts, and a lot of y'all that I follow, but I just the pressure that I can feel the pressure like, okay, I need more comments because they look at that, right? They look at all the comments and feedback and stuff.
Look at all of it. Girl, they be like, if it's a week after you post, they be like, please screenshot your analytics. And I be like, oh my gosh, please let me get some good numbers to send. Whether it's good or bad, I still have to send it. I mean, one time I had like 3 link clicks for a brand, and every shout was like, thank you so much, but is there a way you can like, just create additional content without us having to pay you? I said, you know what? Yeah. Because sometimes, well, for one, it's not just about the money, but it's also about the relationships.
It is.
Because the relationship can take you far. That brand can say, you know what Davida did? Like, it didn't perform well, but she did look out for us and created additional content. We didn't have to pay her extra. We have this campaign coming up where we're looking for influencers to come out to our headquarters, create content with a little brand chip. We're going to consider her. And it may not be paid, but it's still opportunity because I love a brand trip. You know what I mean? So I feel like brand trips, what stems from them is of course your content performance. And then the second is the relationship you have with the brand or the brand.
Oh. So you got to walk us, now that you said brand trip, we just be living vicariously through you guys and how y'all be like, you be twitching and you be with your cup or whatever you be doing out there. So do they tell y'all like places to be, like what to do? Like, how is that?
Well, I'm mainly going on trips with Amazon. And I did one with Party City, but they tell you, they'll tell you, hey, on day 1 we're gonna be doing this. Not like they'll even send you the schedule and they tell you what kind of outfits to wear. Day 2 you're gonna be doing this and that. Come photo op ready and everything like that. And then we'll have like some merchandise for you to share if you want to share with your audience and everything like that. So it's kind of flexible, but there's still some type of requirement. There's still some type of obligation. They say, no posting is required when you're invited on these trips, and they may not pay you like a Tarte brand trip. Well, I've never been on a Tarte brand trip, but they fly these girls out and they do all the bells and whistles.
Oh, I know. I've seen.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, and I've heard like, it's not paid and they don't quite expect influencers to post. But if you're an influencer, on this trip, you're going to post.
You're going to post.
Are looking. People who never even followed you before are going to be looking to see what's going on with Tarte.
They do some really. It's so funny you brought them up because we probably follow this influencer that I'm thinking of in my head when you said Tarte, and I was like, man, their trips are like crate bananas, in my opinion.
Yeah, they are.
They are like they're curate.
You know what I mean? Listen, I know some people complain about them not being fully diverse makeup palette, thing like that. But I still want to go on the trip. We'll figure that out once we get there. I need to go on this trip, see what's going on.
You need to see what's going on. So we're going to speak that Tarte. Listen, my girl she got a diverse audience and listen, she's going to give you that content. So when it happens, you just got to come back and tell us like, hey, it happened. But what I love about you is that all this is good. All this is fun. And obviously you are passionate about it, but then there's another passion that you have, and that's your nonprofit. So you definitely got to tell us about your nonprofit, how it's evolved and where it is today.
So when I first started so the name of the nonprofit is Dear Deandra, by the way. For those listening, it's Dear Deandra. I named it after my sister, Deandra. She was murdered at the age of 18. She was in a toxic relationship. And I think that most of us have been in a toxic relationship. We were in a relationship we had no business being in. And it kind of got the best of us, or some of us were strong enough to leave. And unfortunately, my sister was manipulated the whole time she was in a relationship. So January 29th, 2016, she was killed. And at the time, I was working at Victoria's Secret. And my goal, my dream that I thought that God had for me was for me to be a manager at Victoria's Secret, for me to be in corporate. Like, that was my goal. My goal was to work in loss prevention, like work my way up in loss prevention for Victoria's Secret. But when I got that call, I said, whoa, I don't think that this is for me. I think that there's something else for me. Like, I don't want anyone else to go through this. There needs to be something to honor my sister. And I didn't know what it was, but I remember a month after her death, I was grieving at work. and it started to affect my performance. Mind you, I was a supervisor at this point. So I was working my way into becoming a prevention manager. Um, and my manager, the one who was training me to become a manager, was like, "Hey, Davida," she put me to the side, like, "Hey, you gotta stop. Like, you gotta really get together. She's not coming back. It's affecting your performance and this and that." And I said, "Whoa,
Mm.
this is definitely the place for me. I don't belong here. I don't feel
Wow.
valued." Girl, yes, it really tore me up. And so that's what I said. I'm gonna get into law enforcement. And I started working at the jail. And I got a little bit of experience working in criminal justice. And God spoke to me one day. He said, "You want to start a nonprofit, but I also need you to go back to school and get your master's degree in criminal justice." So fast forward, I created Dear Deandra. And at first, it was to just empower women of all ages on domestic violence awareness. We had a fashion show here, and we had a speaker who had a domestic violence shelter. And the year after that, we had a bigger domestic violence awareness event. And then I decided to create a program called Girl Glow Up. It was about 3 years ago. I created it, and it's basically a mentorship program for young Black girls. Well, I say young Black girls, but we're open to all races. It's just that those are when it comes to our events. But
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it's
I mean,
right. So 12 to 18, we mentor them on fostering healthy relationships with themselves as well as others. And if they are in a toxic relationship, we help them identify the red flags, how to walk away, what resources are available if they do find themselves being a victim or if they're witnessing it with their parents. And just giving them the tools. Like recently, we just had what's it called? The Cocoa and Confidence Teen Girl Holiday Party. This was 2 Sundays ago. And we had Atrium Health, which is a hospital, their domestic violence counselor, come in and talk to the girls about the power control wheel, some expectations they should have in a relationship. Then we also had Safe Alliance, which is also a domestic violence and sexual assault nonprofit that provides resources to victims. And they spoke to the girls about red flags and green flags. They gave them their resources, all their contact information. Then we also, we don't just spread awareness, but we also make it entertaining and inspiring. So we did get into a little holiday cookie decoration, just decorating. They made a self-care jar. Like anytime they're going through something, they can go back to this jar and pull out a little self-care activity. Then they also got into some yoga and then how to journal. They were all gifted a gratitude journal, and at the end, they wrote down what they're thankful for, like that. So that's what we do. We pour into young girls to say, "Hey, I am worthy, I am loved, and I deserve to be loved." And it's okay if I am by myself, but at least I'm loved, and that I'm safe. And that's what we want at the end of the day.
Oh my goodness. That is so good. I wish that there were more programs like that when I was growing up. I
Girl.
think in our community, we're just told to just be quiet, like just keep it in the house, like or keep it in the family and not we don't have any expressive outlets. And I think that is so good. Like just hearing you, I'm like, man, I wish younger Sarah could have been a part of that because I think I wouldn't have been in those relationships because I don't even know. I mean, I'm older now, but I'm wondering like what are red flags or green flags that y'all teach the girls so they'll know like, yeah, this is not for me or he's not for me.
Definitely gaslighting, and they say, that was not me, you're lying, you're tripping, you're doing too much. So victim blaming, if it's something that the person did and they blame it on the young girl, that's victim blaming. They're not taking accountability, and it can only get worse from there. It could get to a point where they say, "You made me late for work, now I have to slap you," or something like, "You made me late for work because we were arguing." Mind you, he's the reason why they argued in the first place. And things like that. So victim blaming, gaslighting, and then any type of physical touch that's in an aggressive manner. So every time we have a workshop, I have this a game that I created called Red Flag, Green Flag. We didn't do it at the last event, but I bring these flags, these red flags and green flags I got from Amazon, but they also bring a blue flag. So I give them different scenarios. And if it's a toxic relationship, they hold the red flags. If it's a healthy, they'll hold the green flag. If it's in the middle, they'll hold the blue flag. And then we'll have a discussion. We have a discussion for every subject because it's never been straight up all green, all red, or whatever. It's always mixed. So this is one situation where I say Jacob and Ashley are in an argument, and just when things are good, they're amazing. However, when they're bad, it can get a little
Mm-hmm.
like chaotic. And whenever he's mad, he grabs Ashley and just shakes her. He doesn't push her, he doesn't punch her, he grabs her and just shakes her. Is that a toxic
Mm-hmm.
relationship? And the girls would say, well, that's a healthy relationship because she's not punching her, he's not kicking her, and she's still safe at the end of the day. And I always tell them, because it's always a mix. There's some girls who straight up like, no, he shouldn't put his hands on me at all. That's a red flag. But there are some girls who are confused because he's just shaking her, and then some girls are saying it's okay. And I always have to tell them, ever put their hands on you. I don't care how mad they are. I don't care how frustrated they are. I don't care if you said something to them that made them angry. They should never put their hands on you because it may be a shake now, but it could be a kick later. It could be a punch later. It could be a stab later or even a shot later. When my sister, when she was in her toxic relationship, it wasn't abusive. Like, well, there were some instances where, you know, he put his hands on her and everything like that, but it didn't start off with him just threatening her. You know, she allowed certain things that he did, and it only got worse. So I just tell him it can only get worse. So you got to put your foot down right then and there. Tell him don't do that ever again. If he does it, or just from that instance, leave, because we don't have time to play with our lives. So little things like that really lead to bigger things.
And that's so interesting that the girls, you have some girls that, you don't know, right? Like, it's interesting to hear that some is like, well, he didn't punch her, but then some's like, no, he shouldn't put his hands. That is so good. That is smart.
Right. And it really stems off of who's raising them at home.
Mm-hmm.
What are they seeing
Yeah.
at home? It's okay that their dad's doing to the mom, they normalize it. So
Oh.
we want to be that neutral party to say this is not how it's supposed to go.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, this is so good, Davida. I feel like you could do, and I know you know this, you could do so much with this. Like, mother and daughter type of conversation. You know, my PR had me always going on. Like, I always be thinking, like, what else could she do? Like, there's just so like love month, balance. Oh my gosh, I get excited hearing about things because I don't hear. At least I'm sure there's. I feel like churches probably do little things like this, but I've never seen like an organization that really just positions these the educational part, especially you walk through it with your own sister. So I don't know if you shared this before, but where did that even lie? I know she was murdered, but was it ever resolved? Where did that ever land?
I remember when we went to court, they said that one time he pushed her, and he threatened her, and he pulled out a gun on her before. Her friends testified this in court. I'm not sure exactly the timeline was, but what's interesting is that she was already in a relationship with someone else, and he was in a relationship with someone else, but they were just boyfriend, girlfriend who still had a connection. Um,
Mm.
and it just got to the point where his goal was to rob her. She had saved up about like $1,000, and that was his motive. Like, and we have like the text messages from the evidence and everything to prove that. But I guess what kind of led to that was that financial boundary that was not set, because anything he wanted, she gave it to him. As a matter of fact, the pair of shoes, because she was killed in January, on the December beforehand, she had bought him a pair of shoes, a pair of Nikes that he wanted. And those were the same shoes that he wore the night that he murdered her. And so
Oh my goodness.
it so whenever we have these conversations with young girls, we also tell them about setting financial boundaries. Don't give anyone your credit card, because he had her debit card number. And as a matter of fact, as soon as he did what he did, he took her wallet, went to, I think he went to ATM first, realized that she changed her PIN. He couldn't get any access to her money. And so he ordered a Michael Kors watch and threw her wallet away.
Oh my
I guess,
goodness.
yeah. I guess he figured, well, let me try to get one more thing. And that's what also was used against him.
So he's in for life.
I would say, yeah, it's 60 years. He was about 25, maybe younger when he went in. So you could stay for life.
Oh my goodness. And I can only imagine just learning all these details, how you guys navigated that. But then, one thing about God is, we really connect because your favorite scripture is my favorite, it's really my top favorite scripture outside of Hebrews 11:1. But Jeremiah 29:11, where the Bible says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, and they're meant for good and not of evil." And that obviously is a tragedy for sure, but he knew what you were going to do with it. Like, wow. I'm so inspired. Like my heart is so connected.
As a matter of fact, when I graduated with my master's, they let you engrave a stone to put in the pavement on campus, and I didn't know until like the deadline what to put on mine. Mine's is Jeremiah 29:11. It says Jeremiah 20. If you go to CSU in Charleston, you will see my stone, my little block, my brick. That's what it is, my brick. And it said Jeremiah 29:11, Davida Rose. I didn't know what the plans were. But I said, you know, only God knows the plans that he has for me with this master's degree. So I'm going to come back and, you know, look at this brick anytime I'm in Charleston to just thank God for the plans that he had for me to prosper and to not live in scarcity and not within my purpose.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, it's just amazing to see you know, listening to yourself. I don't know if you're even listening to yourself, but just to see like you carved that on a brick, right? You went through all these transitions and to see what would you tell the woman that's in this screen right now? Not me, you. What would you tell you? like, what do you see right now? Like, I know you got to be proud of yourself. So what do you see right now? How do you feel right now about yourself?
Not to turn into a therapy session. I actually needed this because I'm thinking about like, dang, I never even thought like, what do I see? I love it though. I love it though. So thank you for this question.
Yeah.
I will say I see someone who's resilient. I see someone who never gave up, even when the odds were against her, even when anybody else would have just given up and allowed the devil to do what he does to kill, steal, and destroy the plans that God has for you. And I see a young woman who said, no, I got this. I can do this. Why? Because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made, because I am a child of God. And I just see a strong, powerful Black woman who believes in herself and allows her belief to lead others to believe in themselves and to make an impact. And for young Black girls to live a healthy, I wouldn't say lifestyle, but well, I guess to be in healthy relationships, not with others, but with themselves. And it's something that I live even with my marriage, because aside from like my business ventures, I look back at how I was in my relationships. It got to a point where I was in this very toxic relationship. I was so scared to leave. I even called my dad one day and said, "Dad, I don't know what I'm going to do." And he took me to get a gun. And thank God I never had to use it. But when I look back at me, and if I were to tell, I guess, hold on, I feel like I'm getting off track. Not off track, but I know the question was me talking to me. Yeah, no. To that me who was in that toxic relationship, who was in that toxic job, I would tell her, love yourself. You got this. You don't deserve this. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And the best is yet to come. And I know you're doing the best that you can, and just keep going. That's all.
And see, I'm probably going to add on to this because you're probably like, oh my gosh, this is going into a whole therapy session. But I like to always give people their flowers. I've followed you before you were even dating. Like, I've followed you. Like, I think I'm not putting all of your business out, but you were in an apartment somewhere in Atlanta. You remember that? You were in this apartment. I don't know, that was Sandy Springs. You were there, and then I assume, and again, this is just me through social media just watching. So you meet Will, or he hops in the DM. So I guess y'all, if the men hop in the DM, take it from my girl. I remember this story. And then I believe you moved to Birmingham and y'all courted and y'all was in a relationship. And then he proposed to you, and then your brand just continued to grow. And I just saw the deals, and then I was like, okay, I see what she's doing. So for me, I'm a person where I believe in like networking across. I believe in like, if you are here, I'm going to do whatever I can to help, but we can all go and rise together. And so I always try to think of like different ways where I can always try to plug people in. And so, we connected a few years back, and I was like, the only person I think is perfect for this would be Davida. I've seen the bootstrap, and then I've seen where she's evolved and she's here. And you were like, I think y'all were married at the time. And I was like, would you be open to it? and you killed it. So I'm a full supporter all the way. I try my best to, if I can purchase a link or whatever I can do, like I just believe that support goes such a long way.
Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Like, you have no idea how much it means to me to hear that, and to hear that you've really been an A1 since day one.
Yeah.
And still a supporter. It truly means a lot. Like, there is some, I'm not gonna lie, even at where I'm at right now, there are some lows, there's some highs, and there's some lows. And when I say lows, we're talking about like in the valley. But even in the valley, I know that God is amazing. I know that He can take me out the valley. That is just probably a season where I need to just focus on what He has for me and do what I need to best to get back to that mountain. And so just to hear you say that, it really means a lot. And even when I went to get my hair done today, I was on my way out. This girl was coming in and she was like, hey, not to be, because she was getting her hair done too. She was like, hey, not to be weird, but I love your content. Like, I'm just a part of your TikTok. Yes. I didn't even know her.
You needed that. You needed that.
I did. Right before this live, right before this podcast. So yes. Like I said, I really appreciate it.
Oh my goodness. Well, y'all, we love our guests. Y'all, first off, I'm so encouraged. I'm ignited. And I know that each and every listener, because the goal here is for business entrepreneurs, multi-hyphenated underdogs, those that kind of just feel like they're in the shadows and not in a position to either be seen. I know you can relate to feeling just hidden sometimes. Like, when am I going to ever get my moment? And I know that they are going to be encouraged. So y'all make sure that you guys follow my girl. Tell everybody where to follow you.
Yeah, you can follow me at Davida's Diary on Instagram and TikTok. And you can also support my nonprofit, Dear Deandra, DearDeandra. We're always looking for supporters, even volunteers. If you have some resources you want to share, you want to talk with our girls, definitely let me know.
Awesome. Well, y'all know what we do here. I always encourage you guys to always be real, spread the honey, and be you.